Greetings. My name is Amber Smith, and on behalf of Evolving in Education, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining. Today's date is August 16th, 2023, and this is Evolving in Education's Mindfulness, Fitness, Wellbeing Focus Group meeting. So we have a fun little agenda today. We have a really brief presentation on the cognitive benefits of mindfulness, and Mika will be leading us through a little bit of mindfulness exercise. So I guess we'll start. You guys will introduce ourselves, and I'll start. My name is Amber Smith, and I'm the founder of Evolving in Education. I started it about 9 months ago when I learned of Montessori school and Forest school and Waldorf school. I have 4-year-old twins, and they're nearing school age, and I got to researching Montessori, and I found out that there's about 500 public Montessori schools, and I thought, well, it would be nice if that was available to everyone, Montessori or, holistic education. So I set out on a mission to just try to make public Montessori school accessible to everyone. And then I got the thought, why not try to combine the best practices from all these different holistic approaches to education and inform with brain science. So that's how I started Evolving in Education. We started off as a Facebook Messenger group, and we quickly grew to a public Facebook group, and now as in a global movement. And as of now, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. So I will pass it on, and if anyone else would like to introduce themselves.
I can go next. Hi, I'm Mika Groscost, Florence, Alabama. I am a yoga instructor and recently opened up a studio with a good friend of mine about 1.5 years ago. And I was kindly asked by Amber to do a little bit of some stretching today, but I have been able to do some teaching in the past and have seen how some schools have been run or worked. And so this has always been something that's been very interesting to me and something that I've been very passionate about, even though I don't have any kids of my own, but just being a teacher and realizing that how many kids that are in a class and all their different learning capabilities, or realizing that just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that you can't understand it. So just being able to give more time or effort into individual kids and for them to again explore how they learn. So that's why when you invited me and when you introduced this to me, it definitely sparked my interest. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mika. I really appreciate you joining. All right, Ben, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Ben. I'm the founder of Vale, which is we're building the systems to manage the internal and the external world, and also preparing people for the new digital economy. Yeah, that's me, really. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, Ben. All right, so without further ado, we will go into this brief presentation I've prepared. Oops, better share my screen first. All right, here we go. Now, can you guys see this?
Yes.
All right, cool. Let's see. Add meeting controls. All right. So like I said, this is very brief presentation. The cognitive benefits of mindfulness. Like I said, this is our Mindfulness, Fitness, Wellbeing Focus Group meeting, August 16th, 2023. So apologize. All right, positive impact on mental processes. You have improved attention, enhanced memory, reduced stress, well-being, and emotional regulation. Neurological effects include brain structure changes. I'm going to go over this really briefly. So this is from medscape.com. The brain regions consistently found to change after mindfulness meditation were the anterior cingulate cortex, prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, insula, striatum, and amygdala. Now, Ben, I know you probably could touch on that a bit later if you would. Some of those, I'm not familiar with all of those, but anyway, brain structure changes, increased gray matter. So through MRI scans have shown through gyrification, that mindfulness can increase the cortical folding in your brain, which is a gray matter. And the cortical folding is tightly coupled with intelligence and attention and focus. So I think that's pretty fascinating. Additionally, neuroplasticity. Mindfulness aids in neuroplasticity. This is also from Medscape. Recent neurobiological studies have shown that learning mindfulness produces significant changes in brain structure and function associated with self-regulation, learning and memory, emotional regulation, perspective, and referential processing. Those are some benefits. Applications in education, you have improved attention and regulation, enhanced learning, flexibility, and increased overall well-being. Practical tips for incorporation can be simple exercises in class. You can have mindfulness breaks, movement breaks, etc. And there's a cool aspect that comes from fusing mindfulness and fitness together. So in conclusion, mindfulness offers cognitive benefits. Thank you all for joining. Like I said, that was a pretty brief presentation there. Let me stop sharing. All right, I guess Mika, if you're ready, we can.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been actually taking a pranayama course, so a breathing course, and I have found that to kind of apply it to this class or to this presentation, I've liked how I guess, been more mindful of things that have been going on around me. So I figured we do start off with some breathing and again, just some light stretching to end with. So you can come into just a nice, comfortable seated position. If you want to sit up against something, feel free. Or if you want to sit on like a pillow or something like that, to be a little bit more on your sit bones to sit up tall. But just starting off by resting your hands on your knees and closing the eyes, or at least allowing the eyelids to become heavy, and just begin to drop into your body. So begin to turn your attention inward and just begin to observe. So not needing to alter or change anything in your body, in your breath yet. You're just here to kind of notice, see what's going on with you in this moment. And if you want to, you can start off with a little body scan. You can either start from the crown of the head, or you can start from the toes and just move up or down the body, becoming a little bit more aware of your body and of your breath. And as you start to feel yourself drop in a little bit more, maybe feel little tiny releases in your body. You can start to soften the shoulders a little bit more, soften the neck. If you are like me and you grind or clench your teeth, maybe you start to soften the jaw, maybe even allowing the lips to slightly part. Allowing your face to relax. And then slowly begin to connect with the breath. So you would just start off nice and easy. So slow inhale through the nose and slow exhale out through the nose. So just starting off with that. It doesn't have to be super deep right now. Again, just kind of getting used to this slower rhythm of the breath. And we're going to start to move into some fuller yogic breathing. But what we're going to start off with is we're going to take our hands onto our belly. Soften the shoulders. Allow the elbows to either point directly out to, again, give you space within your body, or you can just relax the elbows in if that feels better. But begin to breathe into the belly, almost like you're targeting the breath into the hands. So as you breathe into the belly, you feel the belly kind of push against the hands to fill the belly up. And give yourself time. You may not be ready for that super deep breath, and that's perfectly fine. So give yourself a moment to like ease into this deeper breath. As you are breathing deeper, ever so often just checking in with the rest of yourself. So making sure you're not engaging or tensing up your body too much. So allow the breath to become more natural for yourself. Continuing to breathe into the belly. Go ahead and take 3 more good breaths on your own. So at your own pace, an inhale and exhale is 1. Trying to make the exhale just as long as the inhale, or maybe even longer than the inhale. Go ahead and do 1 more breath. Good. From here, we're going to slide our hands up to our ribs. So you're going to place your hands right at the sides of the body. Again, elbows poke out and hands rest on the ribs. Again, if this is a little bit too hard for your hands or wrists, just place them at the front of your body on the wrist. So either on the side or on the front. And then again, coming back to that breath, breathing into the hands, but this time into the ribs. So feel the ribs expand. The belly will still expand, but your focus is now to the ribs. So you're inhaling fully, breathing into those ribs, feeling the ribs expand. And then as you slowly exhale, feeling the ribs slowly come back in. As you breathe into the ribs, maybe even noticing how the breath moves into the front and into your back body, so the ribs on the back. Feel the ribs expanding into the back body and into the front body. Again, reminder, keeping the shoulders and the face relaxed as you breathe in and out. Again, taking 3 more good breaths at your own pace. Once you finish with that 3rd breath, you can release the hands from the body and just give your arms just a quick little reset. They may feel a little tired from being in that position, so just kind of wiggle the arms a little bit. And then we're going to take our hands to our chest. So you're actually going to place your hands, or your palm of the hands, across the side of your chest, and the fingers will lightly touch the collarbones. So fingers touch the collarbones, hands or palms are on the chest. Again, shoulders relax out of the ears. and then come back to your breath. So this time our focus is the chest, or again, the collarbones. So you may feel a subtle little like lift of the collarbones as you breathe. Again, you can still breathe into the ribs and the belly, but your focus again is in the chest. The chest may be a little bit more subtle too with the movement of the hands. Again, taking 3 more good breaths at your own pace. Once you finish with that 3rd breath, again, release the hands down to the legs or to the knees. And then focusing your attention again on the breath. Notice if you can breathe into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest, releasing from the belly, the ribs, and the chest. So this time the hands are resting on the legs and you're moving the breath in and out of your body in that kind of same slow way that we were doing before with our hands on our body. And you may even still kind of feel that remnants of the hands placed on your body. So you can even imagine yourself breathing into those imaginary hands that are lightly placed on your body. And again, you're just observing. You may notice that it's maybe a little bit easier to breathe a little bit deeper, or maybe you just notice that you feel a little bit more calm. Maybe the shoulders feel a little bit more relaxed. Maybe you feel that you have a little less tension in the neck. Or maybe your mind feels a little bit more calm. Go ahead and take, again, 3 more breaths at your own pace. When you finish that last 3rd breath, you can slowly begin to blink open the eyes. Begin to bring your hands together. We're going to interlace those fingers, and we're going to start to slowly push the palms of our hands out. So pushing through the heel of the hand and allowing the shoulders to roll forward and the head to come down. Now, if you're feeling a little discomfort in the lower back, maybe don't round so much forward, but keep pushing through the heels of the hand and remembering the breath. So keep connecting with the breath. So once you get into the pose, connect with the breath again. See where the breath is moving in these different movements. On the next inhale, we're going to lift the arms up, lift the head up above the head. We're going to look up towards the hands, keep pushing through the heels of the hand. And then we're going to bring the chin down. And we're going to bring the arms behind us, or start to move the arms back and slightly move the head forward. So try not to strain too much, but again, arms move back, head moves forward. and then release, come back to the center. So arms and head come back in line. And then you're going to release the hands and you're going to start to roll the hands out, roll the wrist out all the way down to the floor. Once you bring the hands down, give yourself a little shoulder roll, rolling out those shoulders. Now, before we move on, if you are seated and your legs are crossed, go ahead and change position. So whatever foot was in front, bring the other foot in front to kind of change that position for yourself. Again, sitting up tall, we're going to start to take this right hand out to the side onto the floor. So if this was the floor, I'm reaching out with this right hand to touch the floor. And then I'm going to bring my head over to the left shoulder. So just kind of notice how this right side of the neck feels. If you're really tight in this area, this is maybe where you'll stop and you won't move from here. But if you feel okay with this stretch, you're going to start to wrap this left arm around the head, reaching for the ear. So I either say just place your hand on the ear, or you're going to reach and kind of grip the bottom of the earlobe to lightly kind of, again, attach to it or hold on to it. And then you're going to lightly pull the ear away from the shoulder. So I say lightly, we want to be careful with the neck and we want to be careful with our muscles in the neck. So just lightly pull away. And again, find your breath here. So don't forget to breathe. Sometimes you'll want to hold your breath. So see if you can breathe again. Find that deeper breath. And then last option, you can take this right hand and place it on the shoulder. So lightly pull the shoulder and the ear, again, away from each other. So acting like this muscle on the side, almost this like taffy or silly putty. So you're just lightly pulling it away. You don't want to break it. So again, slow, pulling that ear and neck away from each other. And then soften that left shoulder because it's going to want to lift up and hug the ear. And just breathe here for 3, 2, and 1. Now you're going to keep the head where it's at, but you're going to release your hands and arms down to the legs. And then you're going to roll the head forwards very slowly. So take your time to bring the head and chin down to the chest. Give the right side of the neck just a second here to kind of get that feeling back, or almost like it kind of doesn't slingshot back. So giving that muscle time to rest. And then we're slowly rolling those shoulders up and back as we lift the head back up to switch sides. So once you lift back up, we're taking the left hand again out to the side, reaching through those fingertips and bring the head over to the right shoulder. Again, just being aware of this side. Is it the same or different? Because if it's different, you may need to change it up this time. And then just sit with it. But whenever you're ready, you're wrapping that right arm around the head. Again, placing the hand on the ear or grabbing just below the earlobe to kind of catch it. And then from here, lightly pull the ear away from the shoulder. Again, just finding that pause here before you move on, if you want to move on. So if you want to stay here, stay here. But whenever you're ready, you can take that left hand onto the shoulder. And again, same thing here. You're lightly pulling the shoulder and the ear away from one another. So we're creating this space, this lengthening in the sides of our neck. So depending on how you sleep, how you move throughout the day, the sides of the neck can get really tight, or at least for me. So opening these sides up. Again, holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Again, keep the head where it's at, but we're releasing the arms and hands first. And then slowly, slowly roll the chin forward, the head forward, chin comes to the chest. Taking just a moment here, letting the left side of the neck kind of come back to a normal kind of positioning or feeling. And then roll those shoulders up and back as we lift the head. Okay, so one more thing with the neck, we're going to take our hands behind the head at the base of the head. Fingers can interlace, and thumbs, they just kind of rest on the neck for me, but you can tuck the thumbs in, but I like them to rest on my neck. Sitting up tall, we are lightly pulling the head away from our shoulders. So we're pulling the head up. So again, we're creating the space in our neck, but also lifting the weight of the head off of our neck and our shoulders. So you're starting to feel this kind of lightness in the neck, or this spaciousness in the neck as you lightly pull the head up away from the shoulders. Again, shoulders don't move up, keep the shoulders down. Continue to lightly pull the head up. And again, find your breath, so you're connecting with the breath, and just breathe here. For 3, 2, and 1. Again, slowly slide the hands up the head and then let them come off, bringing the arms down. And again, just roll out those shoulders. Okay, so last thing, just moving the feet around a little bit. So I'm going to put my computer down just a little bit. So you're going to take your legs out. So if you're sitting on a chair, you might want to come down to the floor, but you can still do this in a chair. But you're going to take your feet out. And again, if you're wearing shoes, it's okay. But we're going to flex our toes back, or flex the feet back. If you're not wearing shoes, see if you can spread the toes out as wide as you can. And then we're going to point the toes. So point the toes down. So again, if you're wearing shoes, just, again, move the foot forward, but stretching the tops of the feet, the tops of the ankles here. And then we're going to roll our ankles out. So rolling the feet out, going in one direction. Again, no rhyme or reason on the direction, just rolling the feet in one direction a few times, and then rolling the feet in the opposite direction. And then we're flexing the feet again. And again, if you have no shoes on, see if you can spread the toes out. If you have shoes on, just wiggle your toes. So either spreading the toes or wiggling the toes. Good. And then you can relax the feet, maybe give your legs a little jiggle, a little wiggle. And then you can come back to a nice little seated position. Hello. And we're just going to come into a little twist here. So bring your right hand behind you. Left hand comes over to the right knee. Take an inhale to lengthen, and exhale, slowly twist. I like to take my twist nice and easy, so try not to force it too much. Relax the shoulders. And then we're going to inhale, come back to the center. But when we come back to the center, we're going to lift the arms up. And then exhale over to the opposite side. So left hand behind you, right hand comes across. And again, soften the shoulders. Take an inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. And just breathe here. And again, inhale, we're going to come back to the center, lift those arms up. Exhale, we're going to take that right hand down, reach over with that left arm. And then inhale, lift back up, switch sides, left hand comes down. Exhale, reach over with that right arm. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, sitting up tall. Again, relax the shoulders. Check back in with yourself. How are you doing? How are you feeling? And then we'll end with just 3 good breaths. So sitting up tall, relax the shoulders. First, just take a nice inhale and exhale on your own. And then we're going to slowly inhale. Slowly exhale. Slowly inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. And you can come back to a normal breath for yourself. And again, if your eyes are closed, slowly blink your eyes open. And thank you.
Thank you, Mika.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Even
Yeah.
that was wonderful. Thank you. I
Thank you.
Ellie enjoyed it well. She was following right along.
Good job. You did great. Sorry, what's her name?
It's Briella. We call her Ellie.
Okay. Hello, Briella, Ellie.
My twins. I tried to get mom to come back and get her, but she looked like I got dropped off a child. So thanks again. That was wonderful.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Ben, would you tell Mika what you're doing with the machines and the mindfulness, etc., and breath work?
Just sort of getting to the stage where just sort of I'm going to be just measuring the brain waves and looking at the different types of meditation and breath work and just seeing how they affect the brainwave patterns, basically. You know, just because, yeah, some people are sort of underutilize certain brainwave patterns, some people overuse certain patterns. So trying to sort of measure that really, and so you can sort of target meditation on an individual basis, basically, for individuals. Yeah, does that kind of cover it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ben shared this with me, and we quickly decided that we better collab. You know, it would be cool for a collaboration between Vale and evolving in education. And so we're working that into our research initiative. Is, you know, working with Ben in his brain measuring devices.
Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that that's what you did. So that's very interesting. Now your picture makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm still learning. I'm still at the early stages, but I'm still putting it all together and going places. Hopefully. Yeah. So no, it's good. Thank you for that meditate. That was really nice too. That was really nice. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I've been doing that neck stretch, this one, for like at least like a few weeks now, and I have really bad neck tightness, I guess you can say. And I will say that it's been very helpful. So just like putting that out there, it's helped me a lot. So if you guys have a lot of neck tightness like I do, it's been very helpful. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, I have trouble with my neck. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
Oh no, that's cool. That's the first time I've done that one. That's the first, and you can actually really feel it. It was really nice. Yeah. I might incorporate that into some of my movements.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So with evolving in education, one of our goals is to implement mindfulness into public education, because we see that it can really sort of transform the brain. Additionally, exercise. I'm not sure if you're familiar with BDNF, or brain derived neurotrophic factor. It's what's released through activity, through physical activity. And it gets the brain sort of prepped and primed to learn.
Okay.
There's an initiative they do in some parts of the country where I think it's called the Miracle Mile, where they have the children run a mile around the schoolyard before school starts, and they measure the brain function after that, and they're just, like I said, prepped and primed to learn. And we're exploring how it doesn't have to be, running necessarily. It can be, showing your teeth. It can be like jump roping, skipping, playing tag, swimming, even, like hand bicycling, let's say, if you're not able to get up and run. But so we're looking to combine all these sort of, different neuroscience tools, if you would, and implement them into school, and to, like I said, to sort of assess the I can't think of the word. I'm sorry. Assess how it's doing, the impact it's having on the children. Ellie, that's not nice, honey. Through the brain activity, through the devices, like what Ben's talking about. Additionally, our head of neuroscience, she talks about, like, for one, a longitudinal study where we start with kindergartners and go all the way up to 6th grade and measure, the results. And also, in addition to the brain signals, body stress response hormones, and blood pressure, heart rate, etc. So it's pretty exciting, and I'm glad to have met Ben, because he's shared with us the, checking the brain signals, how the children are benefiting from it through the brain signals. Our neuroscience department, she was really excited when she learned of that. She's like, that'll be great. So
Awesome.
it's pretty cool. And I know that it connects the right and left hemisphere of the brain. It allows them to. Briella, I'm busy, honey. Sorry. It allows the right and left hemisphere of the brain to communicate, which is pretty incredible. Do you guys want to do one more quick little exercise? I think it's just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a focus exercise. I think it's pretty cool. I found it online. All right, can you guys hear this? Can you see it?
Not yet.
No. Oh, I forgot to share my screen again. I apologize. And like I said, it's just a couple minutes, but there's a little blue dot on the screen, and it gets to moving in your body. So it's trying to move.
Okay.
It's pretty wild. All right, here we go. Can you guys see this now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There. You good on the screen? All right, cool. Here we go. I'm gonna now you have to stand up for it. I should have told you.
Oh, you have to stand up?
Yeah, you don't
what
have
you were
to,
doing
but
can be
it's a
so
standing thing.
challenging.
Sorry, guys.
When you harness the power of your attention, it can make you stronger and more capable to take on your day. Stand steady in mountain, with your feet about hip width apart, your shoulders relaxed, and your palms facing forward and your body tall. Shift your weight onto your left foot and slowly lift your right leg off the ground. Bring the sole of your foot onto the inside of your leg, either below or above your knee. Lift your arms. As you work to get steady, let your gaze rest on this dot on the screen. Keep your eyes focused on the spot, and it will help your mind and your body get steady and focused as well. If you find your body wobbling or your attention wandering, just lower your foot down, regain your focus, and then lift back up. Inhale, exhale. Bring your knee back to front. Lower your arms and your foot down to the ground. Now, lift your left foot and bring it to the inside of your right leg. When you're ready, lift your arms overhead. Inhale, exhale. Let's try a little experiment. As the dot moves around, keep watching it and notice what happens in your body. Is it harder to stay balanced? If you fall out of this pose, just pause and then pick your foot back up. Lower your foot down and stand in mountain. Come back to tree with your right foot lifted onto your left leg. Lift your arms overhead and stay focused on that green dot as you find your balance. If the blue dot distracts you and you lose your balance, just place your foot down, focus on the green dot, and lift it back up. Inhale, exhale. Each time you lose focus, notice that you've lost focus, and then bring your attention back to the green dot. You're exercising your focus muscles. Bring your foot to the ground. Pause in mountain pose. Then lift your left foot and bring it to your right leg. Reach your arms up and feel your foot root into the ground. Get steady and watch the dot glow on the screen. Inhale, exhale. Come back to stand and bring one hand onto your heart and one onto your belly. Close your eyes or keep them focused on the screen. What are the things that distract you in your life? Throughout the day, as you notice those things that try to pull your attention, remember, your focus muscle is strong.
All right, that was just a fun little exercise. Thank you guys for doing that.
Loads of videos that'll help you make the most of each and every.
All right, Jamal's joined us. Welcome, Jamal. Thank you for joining.
Hey guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah, good to see you. Mika has just done a guided
It's all dark.
guided cool breath work and exercise thing with the mindfulness, but I recorded it so you could check that out sometime. Jamal, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Jamal. I'm the tech fellow here to help and support, but was late. So, but yeah, I love the fact that we're recording this so I can get in there and check it out later. But yeah, good to see everybody. Hi.
Hi.
There we go.
Mika
Good.
lives here in Florence, and she has her and another friend of mine, they own a yoga studio. And I did my first ever yoga lesson with Mika a couple months ago, my first ever time doing yoga. And she did the mindfulness exercises at the beginning, and it was so profound that I cried because I've never
Oh.
mindfulness in a room full of people, and it was beautiful.
We like beautiful. That's so cool.
So does anyone have any ideas? I'd like to have just a really quick little brainstorming session on ideas on how to incorporate mindfulness into everyday school life for children. Sorry, y'all, my kid crashed the meeting. So we spoke of, mindful movement breaks, etc. Mika, do you have any insight? I know you've worked in schools and.
So I like that and I think I remember hearing about the mile thing, the running thing in the morning. But really what's popping in my head, just because I guess like I'm in it, is with my pranayama course, is just breathing. So what I have been incorporating in my life is just more just like when I start to feel overwhelmed, or when I start to my mind's going like all different directions and I can't focus, I just like stop and I breathe. So like I feel like in a way, like I'm not exactly sure how you incorporate that, but even just like starting off the school day, like you said, with the mile, but like with some deep breathing, and then having that as the reminder for kids, like throughout the day, of like, if you need to like stop and pause and take, so many breaths, like that's like a nice little reminder for them and for yourself. Because I find that, again, now that I've gone through or moving through this course, and even being a teacher or yoga teacher for so many years, how I just never thought about how I could have incorporated this into my daily life. But just, again, just that pause, that thought of like, I'm breathing, and then like things start to just settle down into my body and in my mind. And the fact that then I can start to like navigate, and like that video said, about just being able to focus yourself, and then realize like all the like hoopla that's around it does not matter anymore. And then you can focus yourself. So even just that idea of starting off your day with like 10 good deep breaths, or 20 or whatever, and then have that reminder, if you need to like step away, take a few breaths for yourself, that's that's okay, because then it can kind of help allow the kid to be like, wait, is this the right thing I should be doing? Or are my feelings in the right place? Because again, like I feel like that's been my biggest thing recently, is just my emotions getting the best of me. And then having that moment to just breathe, I start to realize like, oh, I recognize that emotion, I see it, but I don't have to react or go off of that emotion. So if I'm angry, I recognize that I'm angry. Why am I angry? Just like going through those questions to yourself as I breathe. I'm like, why am I angry? Or what made me feel that way? Oh, that's what it was. Now I can act accordingly, or now I can apply myself accordingly, because now I know where that's coming from. So it's just that pause. So maybe again, the breathing, or just like a line of questioning. Why do you feel this way? Where did it come from? And again, that mindfulness. And I have found that just that recognition of myself allows me to to move on with my day in a way that's not carrying that with me.
And you're also learning to identify your emotions by doing it, aren't you? If you're a kid in a classroom and you're getting frustrated or angry, and you just close your eyes and just go, oh, and just be aware of that emotion, like anger or sadness. Exactly what it's teaching them to learn about the emotions as well. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And mindfulness, it won't only benefit students, it'll also benefit teachers, staff, communities. I read something of a school day where the kids would go into the school after recess, and the halls were all abuzz. It was all wild and crazy, and the teacher would call up that day's mindfulness leader, and it said this little girl in gray pants with polka dot hearts on it came up. She took a seat cross-legged on the floor, and she just started repeating, I am calm now, with her eyes closed. She said, everybody followed in, teachers, students, everybody, I am calm now. And it got quieter and quieter each time. And by, like fifth or sixth time, everybody was just quiet, sitting there peacefully, just checked in, tuned in. And like you were talking about as well, Mika, with the breath work, I mean, that's a tool that we have at our fingertips, and that unfortunately we don't utilize. It's not common practice for everyone to utilize that. Now, we were born with the knowledge of how to breathe and how to breathe correctly, but somewhere in the mix of the race of life, we seem to have, forgotten the importance of deep belly regulated breathing. And it gives you the ability to self-regulate, and it can give you perspective. So it's really cool, I think, and I look forward to being a catalyst for getting it into public schools.
You made a good point for the teachers. There's the students, but if the teachers are not happy either, this is just as important. It's a great point. It's just as important for the teachers as well as the students, because if the teachers in that is relaxed, the kids are going to be more relaxed too. The same as when you get that person comes in the room and they're all like, ugh, you're like, it's, the teachers are just as important as the kids actually in this. That's something that's just clicked in my head.
Definitely. PJ, I'm not sure if you were there for that meeting, Ben, but PJ had said, what's going on in the schools right now? It doesn't feel good. Like teachers aren't, I don't know that there are some schools that are, but it seems like in upstate New York, he's saying, it's not, the conditions aren't ideal. So I see mindfulness being a great benefit, and not only can it help you just feel better overall and improve your well-being and mental health, I'd say, but it can also, like we just spoke about with the presentation, it can improve your brain function, your cognitive abilities. Another thing that Evolving in Education is on a mission to do is to sort of bring to light nutrition, the critical role nutrition plays in cognition. The gut and the brain, you probably know about this, but it communicates and it's linked and through the vagus nerve, and 90% of, I believe, dopamine is produced in your gut. And that dopamine is a neurotransmitter, and it's sent up through the vagus nerve to your brain. And that's what in turn produces your mood. And the vagus nerve, I'm sure you guys know this, is what is stimulated through mindfulness practice. So it's fascinating for me to see how interconnected it all is, and how, the crucial role all that plays in our mental health.
100%.
It's a fascinating piece. And I was just going to add that the idea of how to bring it into the schools, I think what resonates with me so much is just how critical small bite-sized pieces are to help it be digestible. Presenting it to teachers, presenting it to parents, presenting it to the students. It's like, if we're not doing it in bite-sized chunks, we're going to lose the majority, right? Like those of us that are coming to these webinars, we're a pretty unique group, hands off to the three of you, right? But the fact is, most people aren't here because we don't have time. We're so busy doing things. So my thought is to allow it to become digestible. We have to produce these small little containers of knowledge. And as Evolving in Education brings the information in, we're encapsulating it into this little nugget, if you will. And like EIE could even be known for throwing out these little nuggets to people, where we may have had a full, 20-minute presentation or what have you, but like just a 5-minute or a 2-minute or 3-minute that will get you in the mode of being mindful, or get you into the moment of breathing, or the recognition of just what we're doing here as students, as parents, as teachers. I think that will produce some real development and awareness, and the goals that we have. I think that'll be achieved by little nuggets of our sharing.
Definitely. And we spoke about like this also connects the right and left hemisphere of the brain. I'm not sure that it would be considered mindfulness exercises, but cognitive exercises, for instance, like this, you do.
Oh, yes.
This one,
that's wild.
and it can be tricky. This one is really tricky for me sometimes, but you do it with children, and it like I said, it gets the right and the left hemisphere of your brain interacting. Additionally, there's this where you cross your arms and hold your ears and do squats. They used to do that as punishment in some schools, but it has profound effects on your neurochemistry as well. Also, there already are schools that are incorporating mindfulness into their younger students' learning, I know, which is very encouraging. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Jose Silva. He developed the Silva method back in the 60s.
I saw that.
And he's, I think, said that you should start teaching, if you're going to teach your children mindfulness, you should start, I think he said, around age 6 or 7. And in hindsight, that makes sense to me, because the prefrontal cortex doesn't come online until about 7 years old. So, and it can greatly advance the prefrontal cortex. So
so that's really interesting. I didn't realize that. So about 7 years old is when the prefrontal cortex sort of starts coming online. So that's when you really want to start training that attention and focus skills. So they build that You know, they build those neural pathways from a young yeah.
And imagine starting at 7 years old with mindfulness. You know, you'd have that in your tool belt your whole life, you know.
And this is all it's about, you know. It's habitualizing wellness for for everybody, but especially the young kids. You know, when as their brains are developing, habitualize this wellness, habitualize these techniques in their brain, you know, and then they've got them for life and become second nature to them, you know.
Yes, definitely. Very, very exciting times. The age of the brain. So, real quick, we're gonna wrap up soon because I want to be mindful of everyone's time. But Jamal, Ben checked out our proposal, our grant proposal, and he said he liked it. So we got some more.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. Well,
Mika, I'll pass it along to you in case you'd like to check it out.
Yeah, of
Bit of a
course.
read, but it pretty much lays out, you know, our foundation and what our objectives, goals, all that, target,
Yeah.
needs a statement. So it's pretty cool. We're excited about that. We've already submitted 4 grant proposals.
Wow. 4.
Yeah, 4.
That's
Side. And we've reworked it. Our head of neuroscience, she read the whole thing and she went through and she added notes to it, comments. So I've gone through and I have all but I think 3 of the comments addressed. We have an upcoming meeting to discuss it with the admin group. So I'm sort of waiting for their final input, but I went through and made like 10 changes and I mean, this is the best document we've produced yet, which is exciting. Like I said, we have it all laid out within it. And also, Mika, we published our nonprofit landing page. I'm not sure if you've seen that. I'll send you the link for that as well. So if you get a chance, you can check it out.
Yeah.
All very exciting.
No, this is wonderful. And sorry, so Ben and Jamal, are you guys around the country? Like, so I in my mind, I was like, people from Florence, like that's what I was thinking. So this is obviously not the case. So I'm just curious more, like, where are you guys at?
I'm in a place called Porirua, which is pretty much in the middle of New Zealand. So I'm in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little way from Florence.
A little ways away, yeah.
And I'm in South Florida.
Oh, wow. Okay.
States. Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you all.
You too. Yeah.
I'm just across the river from you, Mika.
I know. I was like, that's why I was like, oh, cool. I was like, some people from Florence I get to see on Zoom. So, but that wasn't the case at all. So this was a nice little surprise. So
It was good because I just came across, somehow the algorithm pointed me in the direction of EIE, and I was like, oh, these guys look cool. I'll come to their webinar, and I've been here ever since. Really.
Yeah, these are my most dedicated focus group member.
Okay.
Yeah. Big awards.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's good because I'm learning from you. You're learning a little, hopefully learning a bit from me, you know, our ideas and the direction we're going. And yeah, it's good to be collaborating with you guys. Yeah, it really is.
I'm very excited about the future. So speaking of the future, we have another focus group meeting. We meet every Wednesday for focus group meetings. So if you guys would ever like to join, Wednesday at 6. Next week, focus group meeting will be our childhood education curriculum focus group meeting. And Angel Staley will be doing a presentation on her business, 3R Educational Solutions LLC. She does teacher training and social emotional learning. She's also a yoga instructor, Mika, and like a sound therapist, and they said social emotional learning, which is very exciting. And then the following Wednesday, the 30th, because Angel will be doing the presentation on the 23rd, but on the 30th, we'll have our nutrition focus group meeting. And I actually have to have a hysterectomy on the 28th. So I've passed the torch, and 2 of our members will be doing the nutrition focus group meeting.
Okay.
It's very exciting. I'll be right there, Annie. Okay, guys. Well, I believe that's all I have. You guys have anything further? I'm happy to discuss that. And if not, I just can't thank you guys enough for joining.
Yeah, good stuff. To be doing this with all of the kids and all of the busy stuff she has in her life. I mean, We are blessed.
I'm very blessed to know you all. Okay, you wanna say hi? Say hi. Got the other twin here. Well, all right, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you so much. And Mika, I'll forward you that info if you want to take a look. And
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
cool. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Yes.
Talk soon, everyone. Take
Right.
care.
All the best.
Thanks
Bye.
for joining. Bye-bye.